Hello friends, welcome back to Policy Pulse. Canada is preparing to co-host the 2026 FIFA World Cup with United States and Mexico, with the Canadian Games in Toronto and Vancouver. Behind the highlights reels and there is a simpler question the taxpayers are asking. Who actually pays for this and who actually profits? Who loses? We want to know about this one, but taxpayers are not sure exactly who pays what. Let's dive in. The supporters of hosting these games call it a once in a generation opportunity. Critics call it a billion-dollar subsidy. Today we look at the numbers, the facts from the taxpayer's perspective, and you be the judge. Let's start with the numbers. Toronto's hosting cost sits near about $380 million. Vancouver's cost has climbed from an initial estimate to between roughly $483 to $581 million. And it's safe to say that is still rising and maybe even more. So combined, the public exposure across just these two Canadian host cities, it's about $1 billion mark. Before we count the ripple cost like policing, transit, and the services and other opportunity cost. So where does that money come from? Using the Toronto's published budget as an example, roughly $104 million from the federal government, $97 million from the province of Ontario, and about $170 million from the city, drawn from its reserves, fees, and as a special hotel tax. That looks like three pots, but it's really one. Every level of government draws from the same source, the taxpayers. Now let's follow the money. The ticket sales, the international broadcasting rights, global sponsorship deals, and official merchandising, all of it is controlled by FIFA. The host cities don't receive ticket revenue. The public pays the cost. FIFA captured the profits. Here is the interesting piece most coverage glosses over. FIFA is headquartered in Zurich, Switzerland, and legally it is a non-profit association under Swiss law. Over a 4-year World Cup cycle, FIFA reports revenue of around 11 to 13 billion dollars. That money is generated in host countries like Canada and channeled through local subsidiaries and FIFA entities and ultimately consolidated at the Zurich headquarters in their home country. By the time it's consolidated abroad, there is very little left for Canadian tax authorities to collect any taxes directly. FIFA's hosting agreements, as far as I understand, I haven't seen one myself, is that it consistent across the past World Cup that they had in South Africa, Brazil, Russia, and typically it entails host countries to grant a package of tax exemptions. And those can include corporate income tax relief for FIFA's tournament entities, withholding tax waivers on payments from sponsors and broadcasters, customs duty exemptions, sales tax relief on many tournament transactions, and personal income tax relief for foreign FIFA staff and officials. So even though revenue generated in Canada estimated to be in $1 billion in range. The commensurate Canadian tax capture is minimal. Canada funds the stadiums and other services. Most of the revenue they generate never really stays home. Now, let's also talk about the access to these games. Toronto's stadium holds about 45,000 fans per game. That's my understanding. I could be wrong. Across 6 Toronto games, that's roughly 270,000 tickets total. Canada has a population of roughly 40 million people. That means less than 1% of Canadians will see a game in person. Yet all of us contribute through taxes, and especially for people who do not have much income, not only they suffer during this game, they also have a access issue to downtown core or close to the venue where these games are happening, and it affects their transportation because some of the area may be restricted during the hosting of the game. Let's look at the case for hosting these games. Supporters like Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow, tourism agency like Destination Toronto, and FIFA itself argue this is a once-in-a-generation opportunity. The point to tourism activity projected as high as $940 million for Toronto, international visibility, short-term hospitality jobs, stadium upgrades, and a burst of civic pride. Now, Mayor Ken Sim of Vancouver, he says, an extraordinary opportunity. The economic impacts and benefits to Vancouver will be felt in the lead up to FIFA World Cup, throughout the event, and long after the final whistle blows in 2026. So these are all the supporters of hosting these games are telling us. Here are the case against hosting. The critical pushback heard, including economists like Victor Matheson and Dennis Coates, both widely cited on sports economics, argue that mega event impact studies are routinely overstated. Much of the spending isn't new money, it's simply shifted from other parts of the economy. The Canadian Taxpayers Federation frames it even more bluntly: a public subsidy to a global sports organization where the revenue flows out and the bill stays home. And every dollar committed here is a dollar not going to healthcare, housing, or long-term infrastructure. So do tax revenue gains offset the cost? The potential government gains include GST 5% on tournament-related spending, HST 13% in case of Ontario, and PST, provincial sales tax in British Columbia, 7% on local purchases. Toronto MAT tax, which is the hotel tax there, which is expected to be in the range of $56.6 million, and Vancouver hotel tax, or including the MRDT, municipal and regional district tax, plus a major events tax, combined roughly about 13.5%, and that is estimated to be $28 to $33 million per year. So business and personal income tax from temporary hiring hotels will benefit partially. So in contrast, if we look at the public spending of about $1 billion, and it's partially offset from the new tax revenue. So net taxpayer position is not very clear, but it can be safely said that taxpayers are in the more of a losing side. So who actually wins? FIFA, the hospitality sector during the event, the construction and the event contractors and the tourism boards and the sponsors that benefit from the global exposure. Who carries the risk? Who are the losers? Canadian taxpayers, municipality budgets, public service that competes for the same dollars, and the long-term economy, where benefits fade while costs linger on the books. So it is quite clear from the data who wins and who loses. What do you think? So here is the bottom line. The crowds are local and the costs are public. The profits after FIFA and the tax exemptions may not be. Is this the nation building investment or a billion-dollar subsidy dressed as a global celebration? What's your view? I would love to know. Please leave your comments, and thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.